Well, folks, it looks like the crypto world just took an unexpected turn. The SEC and Ripple Labs were all set to bury the hatchet with a cool $50 million settlement. But hold your horses. Judge Analisa Torres, the presiding judge in this legal saga, decided to hit the brakes on this deal. Turns out, there were some procedural hiccups that threw a wrench in the works. Now, I know what you're thinking. Procedural hiccups? What in the legal jargon does that even mean? Don't worry, folks, we'll break it all down for you. Just stay tuned. Here's the deal. Judge Torres essentially said that she couldn't give the settlement the green light because the case was already on appeal. It's like trying to order dessert before you've even finished your main course. Not how things work in the legal world. But wait, there's more. Even if the case wasn't tied up in appeals, the judge wasn't too keen on the way this settlement was presented. It seems like the lawyers forgot to dot their I's and cross their T's, legally speaking. They didn't follow the proper procedures for amending a final judgment, and that's a big no-no in the courtroom. This whole legal battle kicked off back in December 2020 when the SEC decided to rain on Ripple's parade. They slapped Ripple with a lawsuit, claiming that the company had been selling unregistered securities in the form of XRP, their digital currency. According to the SEC, Ripple had raked in a whopping $1.3 billion from these sales. Now, the SEC's argument boiled down to this. XRP should be treated like any other stock or bond, and therefore, Ripple should have played by the rules and registered it with the agency. But Ripple wasn't having any of it. They argued that XRP is a currency, not a security, and therefore the SEC's rules didn't apply. Now let's rewind a bit and talk about the political climate surrounding this whole ordeal. Back when the lawsuit was filed, Donald Trump was still president. His administration, particularly the folks over at the SEC, had taken a bit of a hardline stance on cryptocurrencies. But then came a new administration, and with it, a slightly softer approach to digital assets. This shift in the political landscape seems to have influenced the SEC's willingness to settle with Ripple. However, as we've seen, even with a more lenient stance, the legal system still demands that everyone follows the rules. Section 5. Ripple responds. A message of assurance. In the aftermath of the settlement dismissal, Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderoty, took to the airwaves to reassure the crypto community. He basically said, "Don't panic. This isn't the end of the world." Alderoty emphasized that the dismissal didn't invalidate any of Ripple's previous victories in court. He also confirmed that both Ripple and the SEC were working together to iron out the procedural wrinkles and finalize the settlement, this time by the book. In other words, they're going to try this whole settlement thing again, but this time, they'll make sure they don't forget to bring their legal dictionaries. Section 6. Charting the course, next steps for Ripple and the SEC. So, what's next on the agenda for this legal showdown? Well, Ripple and the SEC have to go back to the drawing board and make sure their settlement proposal checks all the legal boxes this time around. Once they've got their ducks in a row, they'll head back to Judge Torres's courtroom and present the revised settlement for her approval. Of course, there's no guarantee that she'll give it the thumbs up, but at least they'll have addressed the procedural issues that tripped them up the first time around. Section 7. A call for clarity. The XRP community speaks out. Meanwhile, the XRP community, those folks who have been following this case with bated breath, are understandably a little on edge. They're not satisfied with vague explanations about procedural issues. They want answers, and they want them now. The pressure is on for both Ripple and the SEC to provide more transparency and keep the community informed about what's going on behind closed doors. After all, this case has implications not just for Ripple, but for the entire crypto industry. Section 8. Market jitters. The price of uncertainty. As with any major news in the crypto world, the dismissal of the settlement sent ripples, pun intended, through the market. The price of XRP took a bit of a dip, as investors reacted to the uncertainty surrounding the case. It's a reminder that the crypto market is still quite sensitive to regulatory news and legal battles. Until there's a clear resolution between Ripple and the SEC, expect some volatility in the XRP price as investors try to predict the outcome of this landmark case. Section 9. The stakes are high, a defining moment for crypto. So what does this all mean for the future of crypto? While the outcome of the Ripple case could have far-reaching implications for how cryptocurrencies are regulated in the United States and beyond, if the SEC ultimately prevails, it could set a precedent for stricter regulations and greater scrutiny of the crypto industry. On the other hand, a victory for Ripple could pave the way for greater innovation and growth in the crypto space, so stay tuned, folks, because this legal drama is far from over and the stakes couldn't be higher. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, and Ripple Labs are locked in a legal battle. The SEC claims Ripple sold XRP as an unregistered security. This case has implications for the entire crypto industry. Recently, a proposed settlement fell apart. A judge rejected the deal on procedural grounds. The settlement would have seen Ripple pay a reduced fine. This rejection has fueled uncertainty in the XRP market. The rejection highlights the complexity of the case. It also underscores the need for clear regulatory guidelines for cryptocurrencies. The outcome of this case could shape how crypto is regulated in the future. Ripple maintains XRP is not a security. They say the SEC's actions are hindering innovation. Ripple executives have expressed disappointment with the rejected settlement. However, the XRP community wants more from Ripple. They are demanding greater transparency. They want to understand how Ripple plans to fight the SEC's allegations. Clear and frequent communication is essential. Ripple needs to keep the community informed about the legal proceedings. Open dialogue can help maintain trust during this critical time. The legal battle has created volatility in XRP's price. After the settlement rejection, XRP experienced a dip. However, many analysts remain bullish on XRP's long-term prospects. Crypto analyst Crypto WZRD sees XRP reaching $5.90. This prediction is based on technical analysis and market sentiment. Analyst DK64 Trades believes XRP could hit $10 if it regains market share. Other analysts like Captain Tolbaron have even higher predictions. He projects XRP reaching $22 in a bullish crypto market. These projections demonstrate the potential of XRP despite the current challenges. The next few weeks are crucial for Ripple. The SEC is expected to respond to the procedural issues. Ripple must use this time to rebuild trust with the XRP community. Transparency and open communication are paramount. Ripple should provide regular updates on the case. They should also address the community's concerns directly. The outcome of this case has significant implications for Ripple and the broader crypto market. By prioritizing transparency and accountability, Ripple can navigate this challenging period and potentially emerge stronger.